Hello and welcome to the Worst Movie Ever Made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Hockman. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci and Bob Hassick. Hey guys, how are you and why are we doing this?
Shitty because we watched One Missed Call, which is a I don't know what I was watching it. Like normally like there's redeeming spots for every movie, but I was just like, where's the good part?
There was literally no good part.
Yeah. Who's describing it this week?
Let's have Bob do it. It's his movie.
Yeah.
It's shit. All right. So it's funny because I was trying to explain this to our future co-host. I don't know what to call it, guest host.
Yeah.
Panelist.
I like that.
And I explained it as college kids get voicemails of themselves dying. Then they die at the same timestamp as the voicemail. Then there's some backstory of a lady whose kid dies after trying to kill their sibling, and the modern day killings are a result of that revenge? ?
Yeah, that's about right. I think you nailed it, Bob, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's start to YouTube.
Oh, these are great. Welcome to YouTube, where the comment section is full of
cancer-infested rats. It's a very dangerous snake. It'll kill anybody it comes in contact with.
Okay, these are ramping up. I remember back in the day, I thought this was a good movie, but def not, LOL. Next comment, I prefer the Japanese version. Next comment, just watch the original Japanese movie. No one needs to watch this. Next comment, fuck, I rented Trow YouTube and have it free on Hulu, ! These is America, baby.
Yes.
Then
what the fuck?
And this last one is in all caps. And then there's a reply to it. Okay, it's just a movie, but if you pray, God will send angels and protect you from anyone with evil plans. They will be eliminated and the devil will be like, damn, how we cannot get him/her. If someone has faith and repeats the Jesus prayer and prays continuously, God will protect you. Don't put yourself in needless danger. Don't hang around anywhere where you are alone. Ask God to walk with you, and God will send you his angels to stay with you. Have no fear. Jesus is always here. Don't listen to atheist clowns either, because they have no faith, and I wouldn't even doubt the demons hide in them too. So just don't worry. Stay calm. God loves you. And then the reply is, if you're going to preach in the comment section of a movie, can you at least choose a movie that's actually good?
I second that.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we know the mental instability of the YouTube audience for this movie, let's throw test number 1 to see what other movies are in its genre. This is the worst of its kind.
Oh,
got some bad news and some good news.
I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. We got some bad news.
This movie is the worst of its kind.
Mega sharks versus giant octopus. I threw this one in to help out One Missed Call because it's so sorry that it needs the help. It's a 19 starring, who cares? I didn't even write anybody down because it doesn't matter. A movie called Carriers I've never heard of, but it's starring Chris Pine. Star Trek, the newer Star Trek movies. A 64 there. So it's okay. Ju-on, which is The Grudge 2003. That's the Japanese version. It came up because there is a One Missed Call Japanese version that's a lot better than this one, as the YouTuber pointed out. Ju-on The Grudge got an 80. The Strangers with Liv Tyler got a 49. And The Conjuring, which is one that we considered for a good movie for this season, Vera Farmiga, actually the end of last season, and Patrick Wilson got an 86, and that's why, because it's actually really good and scary. An average of 59.6. What do you think One Missed Call came in with on Rotten Tomatoes?
I know the score, so I think I need to recuse my
shit,
answer.
I do too.
Okay, so we all know that the score for this movie is a negative 59.6 because One missed call got a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Across 90 reviews or 80 reviews.
That is saying something. I think Gotti is our only other 0. Is that right?
I believe
Probably.
so. Yeah.
I feel like Cat's got a 2 or something.
Yeah, and then Battlefield Earth had like no critical ratings whatsoever or something like that.
Yeah, it was low. Yeah, there were hardly any, and I think it has like a 5 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've jotted negative 59.6 and worst of its kind down for the result of our first test. That is a heavy hitter, going to be hard to beat. Let's throw it to test number 2, our limerick summarization of this movie in Ain't That a Pitch.
So tell me the truth, Don, about Ratty. How's your stuff?
Great. It's got 4 inches.
4 inches? That's not so hot.
Yes, it is. I measured him from the ground up.
Well, isn't that a bitch?
Who's going first?
Okay. Me.
Okay.
They promised scary, but they never delivered. Not one audience member ever quivered. Not even almost. It's a fucking phone ghost. I never once had my own timbers shivered.
Phone ghost. I'll go second. That was good, Chris.
Thanks, Rob.
Mine's more of a yours is more of a criticism. Mine's more of a summarization.
Yes, as it's supposed to be.
Yeah. This movie centers on a spooky, flippy phone. You hear your last words on a message after its menacing tone. Some dude gets impaled because some little girl failed to inhale. That's right, the antagonist is a ghost that's asthma prone.
That's great. Yeah, accurate.
All right, mine's more of a criticism. So here we go.
Yeah.
There once was a time before the flip phone demise. Just before smartphones, but way after the Fry Guys. Sadly, a movie devoid midgets. A CGI baby wants your digits. I truly didn't care if the whole cast dies.
Yeah, same. Man, I feel like we all came in throwing 100-mile-per-hour fastball. So
I think so.
Want to do a team win of 5? Just to tank this fucking movie?
Think so.
I love it. Okay.
This movie fucking sucks. Team win 5.
5. Okay, sweet. Cool. I agree. Test number 3, the most offensive.
Well, Jimmy John, all I said was
saddles
go deep, and white guys keep them out if you can on 2. Jimmy, motherfucker's crazy, but he sure can throw.
That's it from here in Molokai, Hawaii. Back to you
with the most offensive.
Okay, so you may not know, this season we are counting down from the 5th most offensive thing in the movie to the 1st most offensive thing, starting with number...
Oh, am I doing the...
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
5! Everybody loves your dulcet pirate tones, especially number 1.
5!
There it is.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Number 5, if you understand this, I hope you do. Pulling the pussy into the pond.
Yeah, the cat. Yeah,
that's some.
Yeah, what was that about?
Huckleberry.
I'm gonna strike that from my. I'm gonna strike that from my catch-all.
Okay, all right, cool.
Didn't Huckleberry Finn like collect a bag of cats to drown to like cure his warts or something?
Jesus Christ, I don't know.
I'm gonna just say yes because if
okay.
I just pray to God that your brain didn't just make that up.
That information's in my head for some reason, and it was not generated from nothing. So
I hope not. But yeah, it was like a dude's arm. So I don't even know who the guy was. It's a total like non sequitur for the movie. That pulls the first girl in. I mean, it's definitely a guy's arm. So I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Who did it? I don't know. Number 4. Kicking cursed cell phones into sewers and fish tanks.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a lot. This movie wasn't all that offensive, but here's a phone with a ghost inside of it that's going to kill you, and they kick it and smash it and knock it into the sewer. And they break one. I think it's the cop, Jack. He breaks the cell phone and just throws it into the fish tank at like the... I don't remember where they are. The funeral home or something. Drops it into the fish tank. So those poor fish are definitely screwed because that phone ghost is going to be pretty pissed.
Yeah. True.
All right, number 3. All right, this one's just fucked up. It's not even funny. Husband hanging himself when he has an abused daughter at home. So
that whole backstory was dumb. I'll talk about that later.
What's her name? Beth?
Sure.
Our protagonist. And her mother was abusive to her, so she is sympathetic to the girl who is tortured in this movie. Her mother was like putting cigarette butts out on her arm, and her dad knew about it and decided to take his own life instead of doing anything about it. So that's pretty fucked up. That's why it's number 3. Number 2. Asking an audience to observe an adolescent expire via asthma attack.
Yeah.
It was pretty fucked up and graphic and awful. Even if the girl was evil, she has plenty of life left to turn it around, and we get to watch her suffocate on her floor in front of her teddy bear.
We'd all kill baby Hitler. What if she was the next, like, Hitler?
Could have been. Yeah, she could have been. She might have had something, against a certain race, and who knows? Who knows what would have happened? We don't know. That's a good point, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Would
Put
you
that right up, Rob. Defending baby Hitler.
Defending baby Chris. Defending baby Hitler. Got it.
Look, after years and years of therapy, baby Hitler might not have turned out to be Adolf, adult Hitler. We don't know. We don't know. Yeah. Number.
Let's do this one.
1. Okay. I feel like that there's mischief.
I'm mixing it up a little bit.
Okay. All right. So this doesn't make sense, but work with me here. God damn it, grabbing a girl's face after she suffered abuse.
Right.
Our main character is trying to get information out of this abuse victim who refuses to talk because she's so traumatized. And she grabs her fucking face and pulls her in. And then when she still doesn't answer, she stands up and goes, "God damn it," and leaves the room. Further traumatizing this poor girl. Which I thought would be I thought that the balance sheet would be at 0 at the end when we found out that girl that she did that to was the villain. But spoiler, that's not how it turns out. So she's actually just abusing an abuse victim. So that's our number 1 most offensive thing. It's pretty fucked up. Let's throw it to Rob's ad read, which is Chris's ad read this week, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Rob can sell you anything from
Kinky sex
to
the midgets and the wimps.
In Rob's ad read.
All right, Chris.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by TitScope, the first and only mobile app devoted entirely to pointing out boobs in popular media. Hi, I'm Chris Achman, host of The Worst Movie Ever Made, but you may know me as my other name, Chris the Boob Sleuth. After 121 weeks and 58 seasons of hosting The Worst Movie Ever Made, I've realized that most of you just want us to get to the goods and let you know what timestamp to fast forward to in order to witness some supremely rockin' tits. And TitScope is the cure to what ails you. If what ails you is not seeing enough sweater cows serenely displayed within the constructs of celluloid or in high definition on the silver screen, just download the app. Get ready to fap because TitScope considers following: size, clarity, areola to nipple, to boob, to chest ratio, and accidental side boob. We're beta testing that. So what have you got to lose except for a couple of knuckle children? Knuckle children? Okay. While watching Sniper Special, or our ticket to Hawaii, which has a total of 8 boobs on several different occasions. I swear to God, it's 10. If you got nothing to lose, then sign up and survey the boobs. Back to you, Bob and Rob.
Well done, Chris.
I swear to God, it's 10. Oh, fuck, that's hilarious.
TitScope. Thank you, TitScope. That's my first ad read. I'm embarrassed. Let's throw it to test number 4, the worst dialogue.
Where the hell did that snake come from?
Did you believe up through the toilet?
Just when you thought it was safe to take a pee.
That's really bad dialogue.
Okay, I think you just proved the concept, Rob. Definitely more of that, please.
Okay.
All right. The dialogue's not that bad. I don't know. It's like once we get to the top couple, it's pretty bad. I'll explain why. What we
there's not a whole lot of
selected
dialogue in general, though.
Yeah, I agree. There's more like whispery sounds than there is dialogue.
Yeah.
Let's go to number
5.
This is Parties.
Hey. How was it?
It was a funeral. It sucked. From now on, I only go to parties where no one gets cremated.
How are Shelley's parents?
Considering their 24-year-old daughter drowned in the backyard pond, they're great.
And you?
I mean, I knew Shelley. We interned at St. Luke's together. She was not crazy.
I know, Leanne, but the way that she was talking at the end there was pretty...
Yeah, it doesn't mean she killed herself.
That's not my ringtone.
It says it's from Shelley. They're calling from Shelley's phone.
Oh my god, they just all talk like this.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like this is some serious heavy shit that they're talking about, and she's like making a joke about the funeral. She said parties where no one gets cremated are the kind that she's only going to from now on.
Yeah,
referring to the funeral and the fact that her friend was cremated, and that's pretty fucked up. But yeah, their kind of like laissez-faire attitude about this situation is not realistic, and therefore made number 5. Number 4. This one has some explaining. I'll just do it first. It's called Awkward Car Ride, but it's because if you watch the YouTube channel, where can they find that, Rob?
www.theworstmovieevermade.com.
You just click the link. It'll bring you to YouTube. You can see our latest video, which will drop Sunday. And at the end of the clip, you're going to hear Jack explaining to Beth, I think her name is, where they're going. And it's one of those, you guys remember in Super Mario Brothers when they're in the van and they drive across town, but there's only like a line of dialogue and the conversation continues from the apartment into the van, like as they're pulling up to.
Oh, yes.
Same thing happens here. It's just totally unrealistic. So let's play Awkward Car Ride.
Miss Raymond, it is not your imagination. The phone calls happened.
But the other detective said that nobody could find the voicemails.
And it's only because the other detective didn't bother to check the phone records. I did, and it's all right there. Brian was called by Leanne, Leanne was called by Shelley, and Shelley was called from my sister. All right, and all the calls came in after the caller was already dead.
Right, who called your sister? If we could just trace it back to the source and find out who started this, then we would...
I was up all night tracking it down. I'm gonna go see her now. If I figure anything out, I'll give you a call, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna come with you.
That's just not a good idea, right?
Yeah, it is, because these are my friends, and there's no way in hell I'm gonna sit here.
The call my sister got came from a nurse at an old age home, a woman named Marie Layton.
Could you imagine, like, they stop at a drive-through, they get a flat, he, like, fixes the tire. You just drive in silence, no radio.
Not saying a word. It's like Wild Wild West when Jim West is, like, just, like, 100 feet in front of them, and they're not talking. They're not having a conversation the whole time. Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
So yeah, that there when the car door shut was the explanation that I was talking about. So for you who are not watching the video, you're listening to the pod, thank you. And they did the entire car ride without talking, apparently. So
I lost your... Are you still there?
Oh, yeah. Hey, number 3. My bad. This is starting asthma.
Yeah, it says there Marie Layton checked her daughter Ellie into the hospital for an asthma attack.
Okay, and here's the little one, Laurel, stuck a needle in her hand.
Laurel, insect bites, a burn on her leg, Ellie, another asthma attack.
Okay, Laurel again, pesticide in her eye. Here's another one. Laurel ingested detergent. And there, another burn. And look at that. That's 9 admissions in April and May alone.
Munchausen syndrome by proxy. It's when a mother wants attention, so she keeps hurting her children so that they need medical help.
Yeah, but there's no way she could have given Ellie asthma, is there?
No, but she could have exposed her to something to set it off.
So Ellie has an asthma attack and dies. My sister starts asking questions. Marie gets nervous she's going to be found out, so she takes Laurel and disappears. I'm going to go get missing persons on this.
That's airtight. That makes perfect.
I was gonna say it's such a fucking stretch too. Why? And this is the thing that really drives me fucking crazy about this movie is that they give you information that leads you in a certain direction, but it makes it illogical when if you were to watch it a second time with all the information, then you know it's bullshit. Like both kids have a bunch of reports, so that girl is hurting herself as well.
Yeah,
right.
So I don't think so. But also the part, and you know this bothered me. Go ahead, Rob.
It's like the Sixth Sense. If you once you know Bruce Willis is a ghost the whole time, it's like who updated his planner to meet with the boy? Like
that's very good.
Makes no sense.
True.
Right.
Well, I haven't watched it since the first time. I feel like it's one of those movies where once you know the twist ending, it's like watching again. But it bothered me when she said Munchausen syndrome by proxy, because that was like we have a very intelligent protagonist, right? But it's like she's just the girl that wants to tell everybody she knows the thing.
Well, she's in school for psych or some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
They talk about that.
Yeah. Lame.
Annoying.
Yes. Okay, these last two are pretty good. Let's start with number 2. This is Find the Doer.
You weren't there, Mickey. You didn't see this. This girl needs protection.
From what? The ghost in her cell phone? Tell her to call customer service.
Jag, Mickey's got a point. Best use of people here is we find the doer.
Yeah. You're doing a great job so far.
Ugh.
Yeah, find the doer. Never heard that phrase before.
Yeah.
But the customer service thing was a really, really bad line too.
Yeah.
All right, let's throw to number 1 after our drum roll. Number
1, Daddy.
You know what? Fuck it.
This is Sick Women. Women? I think it's women.
Woman.
Excuse me. I'm looking for a student. Her name is Beth. She was supposed to be here earlier today. Where are you?
I think Marie Layton was in the hospital when it burned down. I think that she might have died there.
No, that's impossible. All the bodies were identified.
I know, but what if they didn't find her? What if her body's still inside, Jack? She was a sick woman, a child abuser. So her body is still inside and her spirit's there, moving through the phones, attacking people.
Okay, all right. Where are you? I'll come get you.
Yeah, here we are, miss. St. Luke's.
What's left of it anyway?
Beth, no, wait for me. All right, I'm on my way.
Hurry, there's not much time.
Hurry, there's not much time.
How does she know there's not much time?
Awful. Yeah, right. I meant to mention also in the second clip the like cop that doesn't believe what's happening mentions that there's a ghost going from phone to phone and she doesn't believe it because it's so lame. And like it just always makes me laugh when they do that to their own movie. Like they're making fun of themselves. It's very telling. But anyway, in this one, it's just so like explaining the plot makes you cringe because it's so fucking dumb. So when they have to explain what's about to happen, they're doing some exposition so that you know what they're setting up for the next scene, including there's not much time for some reason.
Yeah.
It just sounds awful, and it takes you out, and like you just not that you were ever in. This movie never takes you in. This is it's just so boring and fucking pointless. I don't understand why it was made. I know I've said it about other movies, but I really mean it for this.
Do you think they had several hours to fix the issue, but like they didn't realize they were on Druid time, which means they only have 6 months?
Yeah, definitely on Druid time.
Yeah.
Outrageous. Okay, there you have it. There's the worst dialogue. Not the worst test we've ever done. There's definitely worse out there, but that's because, as Bob pointed out, there's not much dialogue to choose from. And speaking of Bob, we're going to throw it to him for our 5th test. This is test number 5, the worst production.
All right, everybody, that was a great production.
Good job, everybody.
Let's get the Terminator ready, guys. You did it.
In a pig's ass.
In a pig's ass.
Yeah.
The worst production. Hooray.
Fantastic. Worst production this week. I have a kind of a slash. I have first act missing / clunky exposition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you have to agree. The story starts with several deaths, with no build-up, no character development. So I feel like that's like the second act. I feel like that skips the whole first act of character build-up and character development. And then there's this weird mother abuse backstory, and there's no reason. And the phone tracing to the supernatural element is weird, and it's kind of a forced bridge to the third act, or it should be the third act.
Yeah,
it's clunky is the best word I can use to describe the exposition / transitions.
Yeah, they really don't tie. Yeah. They don't tie the bow on it. You know, like they introduce this mystery, and then, like, if you're an avid movie watcher, you want to try to figure out the mystery before they tell you what it is, and that's what I was saying bothers me about it, because the exposition is clunky, as you put it, in that they give you leads that don't go anywhere, and then you make assumptions, and it doesn't happen, and then when they like bring everything together, it's still a misshapen. It's like a puzzle missing. You know, it's like a 50-piece puzzle and it's missing 8 pieces or something. Like it doesn't make sense.
Like the protagonist's mother is abusive, and so she sympathizes with the abused child who actually isn't abused, and then it ends up being nothing. Yeah, and somehow she survives.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just dumb. Let's throw it to test number 6, the worst acting.
You should get in, Rowdy. The water is great.
Are you kidding? I've got better things to do with my body temperature.
Like act in a bad movie.
In the words of Bulldog from Frasier, this stinks. Number 1 is total BS.
This is total BS.
And then she got this strange phone call. It's hard to believe. Yeah, Leon told me the same thing happened to Shelley before she drowned. That is so eerie.
Taylor.
What? I'm just saying what Leon said.
Well, maybe this isn't the time, all right?
I heard Shelley got a phone call from an old advisor of hers.
Yeah.
Right, I heard that too, only it turned out the advisor was already dead.
You stop it! Your parents are right in the other room.
It's like dead people calling you, but it's your own voice. And then you die too.
Shit, Taylor, you know what? Don't try to think, all right? It just makes you look ridiculous.
Ooh, burn.
I heard it too. That's it. Now I'm really creeped out.
It's shit, all right? It's total bullshit.
No, I'm really scared. She sounded like Tommy Wiseau right there. Oh man, I know, and really creeped out. You know.
Do you understand life?
All right, let's throw it to number abuse victim.
Look, if you don't talk to me, I can't help you.
That noise. The inhaler, I heard it both times before Leanne and Brian. And then when I looked behind me, there was nobody there. What the hell's happening?
This is the morgue file of the dead from the last month or so. Marie Layton died. She did it in another city.
I don't know how you stand looking at this stuff.
The dead ones don't really bother me so much. I'll take a look at this. All right? It's not a Marie Layton, but an Ellie Layton.
That's the older daughter from the photograph.
Yeah, it says she died of an asthma attack in her apartment. There's a CPS report attached too.
Child Protective Services. Was she an abuse victim?
It says her mother was questioned by a psychiatric nurse at St. Luke's.
Your sister.
Was she an abuse
Is
victim?
with? Yeah, exactly. What is with
Yeah.
her? Everybody is just so like tepid. Everyone's lukewarm. There's no emotion either way. It's just so monotone and boring.
Yeah.
Makes me want to puke.
We should do an entire episode where we talk like that. Like, hi, welcome to the
Can you imagine?
Oh man, I am really steamed over this movie and how bad it was.
I might fall asleep during an episode like that. Maybe.
All right, let's throw it to number
3.
All right, to this guy's credit, he does actually have some chutzpah. This is Exorcist.
This is Voight from Chicago PD.
We cast out this unclean spirit. Depart from here, Satan. Depart, every demonic power, every infernal adversary, every legion. I command you. I command you in the name of God, in the names of all his heavenly angels, to be gone from this cell phone. I command you, by the judge of the living and the dead, you will leave my sister alone. Come out, I say, in Jesus' name. You serpent. You devil. In the name of Jesus of Nazareth, you will haunt this child of God no more. Stop tormenting my sister. You will come out now. I am calling you by name, Satan. Come out. Show yourself!
The speech wasn't bad, but then like he has a slip in the cell phone part. It's like there's a Simpsons episode where the kids from Springfield are in a feud with the kids from Shelbyville, and Milhouse is like, "I'm gonna kick your ass." In Nintendo, like he says it like quietly to like,
right.
He really can't. Yeah, but that's what it reminded me of. I was like, "Cast the demon out of this cell phone," and all the infernal adversaries.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, even he did not have enough, momentum behind him. I didn't think.
Yeah,
it's like the director was like, everybody play it like real cool.
It happens all the time, and this just happens to be a moment in time being captured. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Hey, we're going to be, throwing in our guest podcast host, Chad Smith from the Last Comic Shop podcast. He's been on before. It's been a few weeks. Only a couple for Bob, but it's been a few for Chad. So why don't we... Why don't we get Chad in here? Bob, did you text him or?
I did several minutes ago. We'll see. He's
okay.
Notoriously late. Well, let's see what happens on the podcast.
Yeah, all right. So we'll throw it to the bumper and then maybe explain the game for the audience at home, those who haven't heard us before. And then if Chad joins, we'll get going. If not, we'll get going. How's that sound?
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. This is fact or no fact.
Confucius say, man with deadly hands must be very careful while slapping on aftershave.
Fact or no fact.
All right.
I love that.
All right, so I love it. Your guys' bumpers are my favorite. I think of all the seasons so far. It's like fantastic, like chef's kiss. I love them.
Well,
so
you
fact
did
from
you did the mise en place. You did the mise en place. You got it all ready for us.
I did do the labor of love and extract all the clips from that piece of shit movie that I just love to hate. So I called this game One Pissed Call because I was pissed that we had to watch this. But at the same time, okay, Chad's joining. Apparently, he said atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. I'm not sure what the hell that means.
That sounds about right.
It's from a movie.
Do you know which
It's a
one? Because
kid.
I definitely don't.
I'll get there. Let's throw it to the bumper, and I'll work on it. Oh wait, we already did the bumper. What am I talking about? Oh, explain the game.
All right.
Hey, Chad.
So this movie,
I'm trying, Chad.
Much like many movies, this movie has a lot of facts that I pulled from it, and I made up one thing to see if you can figure out which one's the lie. So we are testing to see what the lie is. Hey, Chad, what's up, man?
Hello, hello.
Hey, Chad, was that quote from Little Rascals?
That was the Batman queuing up the Batmobile.
Oh, okay, well that makes sense for you. I'm pretty sure that in the 90s Little Rascals movie, Alfalfa says it, and that's
nice.
Yeah, when he's getting the bubble machine going or whatever.
That's
Anyway,
a deep pull of the '90s Little Rascals.
Yeah. I watched it like 20 times when I was younger, so unwatchable.
Chad, sorry to read your private text out loud, Chad, but I'm like, what the fuck is this? All right, Chad, you just made it in time to pick out the lie. Here we go.
All right.
So in the movie, One Missed Call, sound designers used the voice of Skid Row frontman Sebastian Bach in the hospital basement scene. That's the first fact or no fact.
Okay.
Second, the director asked the actors not to watch the original Japanese version of the movie.
Okay.
Third one, again, the director claims that due to iPhones coming out the year of release, the film looks immediately dated, and that's why audiences didn't like it.
Yeah, that's the whole reason.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with the quality.
Again, fourth, the director to this day claims he hates his own film.
Okay.
And fifth, the original writer has mentioned several times that he wrote the script under the assumption that it was going to be a horror comedy.
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Find the lie.
We have some work to do here. Okay, so number one, Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. He used his voice. He was in Gilmore Girls at this time, playing Gil, the sandwich shop owner / guitar player of Hep Alien. And that's Zach Lane's and Brian's band. So he was taking small gigs instead of making Skid Row money. So not too far-fetched. I believe so. The director ones here's the problem. I feel like they're all kind of contradicting each other. He told him not to watch the original Japanese version. I could believe that because maybe he just wanted to have his own vision and not have it be, subjected to the original film, which he probably should have because it would have been better. But 3 and 4 contradict each other because 3, he's defending the film, but then he blames it on the iPhones. But then, unless he went through some odyssey of self-awareness to make him hate his own film, he wouldn't have defended it.
Yeah, you're right.
But also, I'm kind of calling bullshit on number 3 because, yeah, iPhones came out, but they weren't ubiquitous in 2008. You had one friend out of 10 that maybe had the new iPhone, and maybe some Blackberries floating around, and Android wasn't competing with Apple yet in 2008. I don't think. I might be remembering incorrectly. And then the original writer has mentioned several times that he wrote a script under the assumption of horror comedy. I'm having trouble with this one too because it's not scary nor is it funny. So unless they did if they did a lot of punching up, then maybe it originally started out that way, and they're like, no, it's not a comedy.
Is it still punching up if you make it worse?
Yes, I think so.
They're just punching down.
Yeah. I'm going to say. Fuck. I'm going to say that he claims he hates his own film because he's a Hollywood type, maybe more people in his sphere had smartphones when they first came out. But if number 3 is true, which it very well could be, then I don't think he would later say that he hates his own film and he's always like hated it. So number 4, I don't think he hates his own film. I think he's probably still defending it and probably thinking of reasons why people didn't see it favorably. So number 4.
Fair enough.
He claims he hates his own film. That's the lie.
Chad, I'll let you go next.
Okay. Oh boy, this is a tough one. Just because I don't know. It wasn't scary or funny. So I've heard. So I don't know about the horror comedy thing. The director hating his own film, I mean, is bad, so that's reasonable. Yeah. So I'm gonna go, even though he was taking bit roles at the time, the Sebastian Bach thing is too oddly specific. I'm betting it's actually like Lemmy or I don't know, Axl Rose or somebody, or like
calling out the Bob Foolery.
Reb Beach. I bet it's Reb Beach, Pittsburgh's own Reb Beach.
Red Beach.
So I'm gonna go with the Sebastian Bach.
Love it. I'm going to say that because it was a Japanese film first, one that is supposed to be really good, and by that I think they mean scary. I'm going to say number 5. It was actually not meant to be a horror comedy. It was just done in a much more tasteful way over there.
You know, it's a shame that the odds are with you.
We lost. Did we all lose?
We lost. God damn it.
We lost. So the director actually seriously does hate this film. He's never liked it. He hates it.
So that's true. Okay.
Rob, you had the logic and the rationale all done. You just picked the wrong one.
Reverse. Fucking wrong side of the coin. God damn it.
Damn it.
Right. I made the thing up about the iPhones. And Chad, how dare you forget that I mentioned that today in school? And I forgot. I realized as I was telling it to you that I'm like, shit, he's going to be on the podcast.
That's why I didn't think it was a thing. We were talking about when iPhones came out. How nobody had iPhones the first couple of years.
So yeah, Sebastian Bach's scream at the beginning of Midnight Tornado was in the hospital basement scene. And the director did ask the actors not to watch the original. The original writer has mentioned several times he wrote the script assuming it'd be a horror comedy, which he was very surprised when the movie was made as a serious horror film. So I want you to think back to a couple of our things we talked about. I can't think of I think it was
the ashes in the funeral. Like that's not a great party because there's
and then and Mickey, the police officer, was like, should call customer service if there's
that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. Anytime there was dialogue that was clunky, the writer was like, that was supposed to be funny.
Right, but they played it straight.
They play it straight.
Bummer.
Too bad. Well, we lose it again. Way to go, Bob. Whatever. All right, let's throw it to the catch-all. We're going to do a round robin. So anybody who has something, I'm going to go, and then we'll just get a rotation going. This is the catch-all.
Yeah. If brains were birch, you'd have a clean case.
Yeah. Welcome to the catch-all.
Right.
Beautiful. I'll go first. I have a lot of material. Yeah. Boring, pointless opening with people walking around talking on cell phones. Thought it was really funny. Have you seen Enemy of the State with Will Smith? The intro is a bunch of like high tech bullshit where there's like surveillance videos and like zoom ins and stuff like that. It has actually nothing to do with the movie. It's just they wanted to establish the feel in the beginning. This one, it's people walking around with cell phones just to establish the cell phone element of the movie, and it pissed me off immediately. I was already mad like 7 seconds into this fucking movie. Okay, who goes?
I'll go.
So go ahead.
I already said it, but Voight from Chicago PD, the main police, like anti-hero, badass, who always talks like this. He kind of has the Batman voice, which I'm surprised. I guess he did not like find that he had that gravelly baritone voice maybe at that point in his career, because you need closed captions on that show, especially when he's crossing over with Chicago Fire and like the big commissioner guy also talks like this, and then they're arguing and they're just we're gonna get in the so like, I thought they would use more of that.
Nice.
Chris said this earlier, but who was in the water at the beginning? Like, who was that?
I don't know, some guy.
Well, it wasn't the kid.
Definitely not. Totally unrelated.
Then.
Yeah.
I said phones weren't waterproof then. How could they be in the water?
True. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
But it was maybe it was closed. It was a flip phone that was closed and watertight or something.
It was a Nokia or something.
Yeah, it could have been a Nokia. All right, I'll go again. Could you go into the morgue and mess with your dead sister's body all alone? Even if you are a cop? Is that
Chris? I'm clipping that audio because out of context, that is fucked up.
I'm just saying. I don't think they're gonna let you go in there all by yourself and like handle the body because you might fuck up something.
Yeah, and most cases that involve like your familiar something you're not allowed to work on because of conflict of interest and you're emotionally invested and it's not just a Jane Doe, it's your sister.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so this is just to make Chad laugh. The art teacher in our school asked me seriously the other day, "Have you ever had to identify a body in the morgue?" And I answered him, since we've been adults, they've had DNA. No.
And there.
And that's the whole thing. Once the body's identified through DNA, what the hell you care what?
You don't need to be there to confirm it. It's
Seriously, what's the guy doing in his spare time? Like, who's he hanging out with? We're like, oh man, another Thursday. I'll be back. Gotta go.
Just watching reruns of The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross and cutting his palm with a piece of old glass.
Right. Oh man, today I discovered quadrilaterals, triangles, and now I gotta go to the morgue. You know,
random Thursday. Knock on wood. All right, who goes?
I'm gonna go just because this ties into the bad production and some of the plot holes we pointed out. I think they storyboarded and shot like probably 75% of this movie, and they're like, "Oh shit, we never established what the demon is." We never
that's possible.
we never tied in like the hand in the water to the little girl with asthma. Because like even like is she an abuse victim, and like the protagonist is also an abuse victim who sympathizes. Like she doesn't really. She could have been more troubled or something, anything that would have indicated that in the first act, but like it's just like, oh no, I was abused. Okay, like you seem pretty well adjusted on every single front, that in a way that tells me that like, you're not traumatized by something that happened in your past.
Until it's convenient. For the plot.
Yeah.
Which happens all the time. Like the idle hands demon that only was able to like overpower Devon Sawa's character when it was important.
Whoever wrote that movie was like on a higher level than all of us can comprehend. So I think we just missed some of the subtext.
Oh, yeah, true. I didn't think about it. I did write, I'm going to do a twofer real quick. I wrote hilariously outdated cell phones, but Bob kind of already covered that. Everyone in the movie has the same phone. It's like they got a deal with like Nokia or something to just send them 20 like phones with no.
No, they did. They did. They all. That was actually something I didn't mention yet. They did make a contract with a cell phone. It was they all had the same phone.
Yeah, you can tell.
fair.
And Jack had.
I
Jack,
forget what the brand was.
yeah, it was like Samsung or something. It looked like a standard like flip phone, but they were all the same. I
Yeah, I think it was
noticed
like
by the
Motorola or
third cell
something.
phone. Yeah, it does look
Yeah.
Motorola. That's true. But I noticed by the third cell
Um,
phone that it was like the exact same cell phone, just a different color. And then Jack the cop had like a little police department sticker on two of them
Yeah.
to differentiate them. But you can tell that they're all the same phone.
There's a really, really bad Stephen King adaptation. There was a series called Under the Dome. The book is fantastic. The series, it's like the youth in that, like, it's a kid with long hair and a beanie. He rides a skateboard. He's like, hey man, that's fucking totally rat. Like, it was like someone who hasn't had a kid of their own, or like they haven't like. It was typecasted horribly, but they all had the same like Windows tablet when they were looking things up in the same Windows phone.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, like the only reason this show exists is because of those products. And that's the only way that shit got funding.
That's it. It's like how Star-Lord gets his Zune in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But you're the movie podcast. Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Apple have some sort of thing where they won't let Apple products be used by bad guys?
I hadn't heard that, but now that you mention it, I can't think of one example where that has happened.
Apple, I mean, and a lot of crime dramas, like SVU, Law and Order, they've definitely had that, but like that's like not in movies though. But I wouldn't doubt it, because Apple, the reason the iPhone was only with AT&T is because there was a huge argument with the cell phone provider saying like the Apple logo needs to show up before the Verizon logo, and Verizon's like, no, we want the Verizon logo first, and like. And AT&T's like, we don't care. We want the iPhone. So everybody switched to fucking
We'll do
AT&T.
whatever.
Yeah. We'll suck your dick.
That's something to watch for from now on, though, I have to say.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Product placement.
Yeah.
So when they walked into that lady's apartment or whatever it was, they found a mini DVD, and suddenly they're watching it. They didn't bring a laptop. I watched. So what the fuck was that?
Good point. Yeah,
they did the whole investigation on a GameCube. Holy shit.
That was a fun system, though.
That was pretty cool.
All right, who goes? I have 1 million left.
It's you next. I went.
Okay. Why did Taylor keep the cell phone that the TV, like the creepy TV host, gave her in the first place? Like the cell phone might call you and like tell you you're going to die, so just politely decline the offer of having a cell phone. This happens a number of times in the movie where people who know there's a ghost in the cell phone accept cell phones from strangers. It seems like a really bad idea.
I'm giving too much credit, but maybe if your fate's already predetermined, I personally would want to have the voicemail with the timestamp so I could at least, there's traffic in the background. At this time, I'm going to stay somewhere where there's no traffic. Like you could have.
And Chris, you obviously don't remember like before cell phones and the cord. Like, sure, predetermined death, all that, but it's worth it not to have to untangle that thing or
that's
fair.
From
room to room. That's just
your friends are at the mall waiting for you, and you just want to know like if they're by Sparrow or Hot Topic.
Make sure they don't get the Wetzel's pretzels before you get there. Yeah, for sure. I feel that. All right, somebody else go.
Why did the antagonist have a weird face? Like a weird, like, it wasn't a mask.
What?
You're right. I don't know. Because she suffocated. So I guess your face like collapses when you suffocate. Is that what happened?
But it's just like, it was just like they had like an image for the monster. This goes back to the whole, like, I think they shot 75% of the movie. And then they're like, oh, there's no backstory to this. And they came up with the little girl, because like, the demon wasn't a little girl. It was like a weird, like, mask thing with weird, like, nose holes. And
Yeah.
All right.
Weird face antagonist.
So the TV show, the Exorcism TV show, it was airing live? There was no way it was airing live.
It was definitely airing live.
It was airing live, but no show like that's going to air live. First of all. Second of all, they knew exactly where the show was filming and got there before the filming started.
Absolutely, they did.
Yeah. Yes.
Somehow.
Yeah,
Taylor ran off to join the circus, basically. We had no idea what happened to her. And then she happens to be like 2 blocks away filming that TV show.
Yeah.
Well, to also add to that point, when they walked into what's his name's apartment, the TV was just on that channel.
Yes, very convenient.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
Geraldo
thinking,
goes into Al Capone's vault one time, and movies think that's just how it works
Yeah.
for the rest of forever.
we're not even going to mention the creepy dolls to each other in this lady's apartment.
Yeah.
They never even mention them. There's like these. There's one like hanging upside down in the closet when she opens it. It's like the creepiest doll ever, and they both see them and they don't mention them to one another. There's no reason this woman should have them.
It's been a while since we had a South Park bingo check. When they're looking for the left-hand killer, and Detective Harris goes to the killer's house. The killer introduces himself as God, and they go into his like black room for photo development, and there's a bunch of chicks with their eyes cut out, and he's like, "You like cutting the eyes out of pictures of women in magazines? My son also does that." He pays no mind to it and just keeps doing his thing.
Oh my god, I laughed so hard though when he answers the door and the cop's like, "Hello, Mr." and he goes, "God." He's like, "Hello, Mr. God. Let me."
We won't be a minute.
Yeah, fucking awesome.
But speaking of her apartment, there was a large rat in the sink, like rattling dishes, and she just kind of like barely like looked sideways. Like I would have freaked the fuck out and run out of the room.
Yeah, no kidding. You don't want to be anywhere near those things.
Yeah.
He's just gonna allow the breaking and entering.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a cop, and he's just like, I'm not gonna break in and enter. I'm gonna get the super.
Plus, they picked a lock with a plastic card. That hasn't been possible for 30, 40 years since then.
There's no chance.
Especially in apartment buildings, because they don't have a knob lock. They only have a deadbolt. At least in the last like several apartments I've lived in, there's no way to jimmy open a deadbolt with a credit card. You could jimmy open like a doorknob lock, but not the deadbolt.
Yeah, and you have to be real good. Yeah, you have to be real good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
All right, who's next?
You.
Shit. Okay. I don't really have much. This whole thing pissed me off. Pass.
You can skip. You can pass.
Yeah, I've got one more. The police would clearly think that there's a killer, like a serial killer involved at this point, and the police are not bothered in any way. There's like 6 teenage kids that died, and they all know each other.
And the MO is exactly the same.
It's basically Scream, the movie, only they're not looking for someone to connect the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Rob, I have an alliteration for your write-up.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Swift, Ciggie, Singe, Suspicion. This is when
I like that.
This is when the policeman asks her, "Oh, you got a cigarette burn on you? That must be from your father or your mother, right?" Like he just immediately like accurately describes her childhood abuse.
Yeah. Definitely wasn't a boyfriend. Somehow he knows that.
Yeah.
I love that she drinks out of the water fountain that the woman with half a face drank out of.
Yeah.
She's like in the library studying. She gets up, she's walking out, and she decides to get some water. The woman at the fountain turns around, and her face is melting. Yeah. And she looks at her, and then goes over to the water fountain and starts drinking it.
Oh, and now we're very thirsty.
Now we have a cabin fever pandemic on our hands. Thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, thirsty's thirsty, man.
Yeah, fair.
Gotta hydrate.
All right. The daddy and mommy backstory was weak and forced and truly didn't even belong in this movie.
You mean the Munchausen syndrome by proxy? What are you saying? That's far-fetched?
No.
The protagonist.
The protagonist's mom, who burned her with cigarettes and abused her, and the dad hung himself. Like, where did they even belong in this movie? It didn't belong anywhere.
It didn't at all.
But they put it in there.
Couldn't agree more.
I
they
got
need to
something
stretch the
actually.
movie out. Go ahead, Rob.
I'm no audio expert. I mean, I do the audio for the show. I know how to like record music and stuff. But last time I checked, maybe possession rules are different. But if your phone doesn't have the right sound card, how can it? I mean, I guess it's all the same brand, but how can they universally play all the same song that's not in the database or in the bank? That ringtone.
Because it's supernatural.
Future tech.
Future.
Yeah.
Future.
Absolutely future. The building, the like hospital that burned down. She just flicks on the breaker and all the lights go on.
Yeah.
You stole mine.
Which is really funny. Also, because I took a screenshot. I didn't bother sending it to you guys, but there's like a battery operated, like you would see it on the side of the highway while construction work is going. That's not plugged into an outlet. That thing is on too. She didn't independently turn that on. She flicked the breaker on, and that came on also somehow. Just thought that was really funny. You're not supposed to think about that, but
don't most buildings like that have generators anyways, so you don't need to check the breaker because they have like backup power reserves?
Yeah, but they like the city would have disabled the electricity.
That's a good point.
Or the electricity, the United Illuminating, I don't know what you guys have. But of that region would not be powering the hospital for no reason. They'd be saving, you know what I mean? Like it's
Plus,
the
hospital burned down. The hospital burned down. A generator is gas powered. That would have also burned down.
That's a good point.
So there's just no way the light.
I'm just trying to poke holes here.
Giving it too much credit, Rob. Hit the bingo card.
You guys have a lot of faith in infrastructure.
You're trying to, Rob. You're trying to fill holes, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. My last one, because Chris stole my power at the hospital.
Ooh,
the CGI baby on the cell phone is fucking hilarious.
Okay. Bob, I'm going to read one I have right here. Laughable baby doll in crib with cell phone scare. Tons
almost made my trailer.
Yeah, it was awful. Tons of whisper sounds played backwards, a la 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
You remember? That's those kinds of sounds to be creepy, but it's not. Here's some tropes for you guys. Being dragged away from the camera trope.
Yeah.
That has been a long-standing horror thing that's just not effective anymore. Jack is unconscious at exactly the wrong time, and it doesn't make any sense because the woman ends up protecting Beth anyway. So why would she knock Jack out, her protector? Faulty pipe logic. They go into 2 weeks in a row. We've got giant vents where people are crawling in them.
Yeah, and why'd she go that way? Like, what was the? Because it was so confusing.
I don't know. I'm trying to go real fast here. The dead body making a phone call was really funny. And in retrospect, it makes no sense because the mom wasn't the killer. Clearly, it was a little girl. Nope, it was her sister. That's super lame. How did she become a phone demon? They don't explain how that happened. The hard candy tie-in. The hard candy tie-in is really fucking stupid. Everybody that dies, a little hard candy falls out of their mouth. I thought it was a marble. Apparently, it's a hard candy.
Yeah, hard candy wouldn't exist in this generation.
Yeah, it's
it's a joking hazard.
Good thing John Candy, the cop, listened to the phone in the box. He doesn't know anything about the case. He just decides to answer it. He looked like John Candy. You have to make a mystery that is solvable for movie lovers. Otherwise, you deliver no aha moment. That at the end it's part of the beauty of a well-told mystery, horror mystery. You guess what happens when you're right. It's a very good feeling. In this case, it pissed me off to no end because I thought I had the answer, and it wasn't that. My answer was better. Okay, my answer was better. If it was the blonde girl and the teddy bear somehow doing it, it would have been better, because you're feeling for her the whole movie. If it turned out to be her and she killed her mom and sister, that would have been fucking cool.
Yeah.
But no, she's just an abuse victim. Just a little bitch. Sitting in somebody's house with a fucking teddy bear. Doesn't want to talk.
Yeah. Even Halloween, which we did for a good movie week, which we pointed out so many fucking plot holes and inconsistencies. The final scene is still like, wow.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great way to tie the bow on the movie. Did I just call that girl a little bitch? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. Robin and Chad, make sure you understand that Chris said it would have been cool if the girl killed her mom and sister.
This is shortly after he inquired whether or not it's cool to go to the morgue to identify your sister.
God damn, so many sound clips from this one. Did he push her back into proper blocking when she let him in? So Jack the cop is like comes into the house because she opened the door. I think the actress was supposed to back away from the door because there's like an explosion happening, and she doesn't. Jack the cop very awkwardly pushes her all the way back to like the stairwell where she's supposed to be. I think. I don't know if they were running on a film or what, but it was extremely awkward. I've got a few more. Why all this fucking around if you have the power to blow out the windows and doors and shit and just like stab people to death? Why are we making all these coincidental like Final Destination style deaths? Didn't understand that. The evil sister is so lame at the end of the movie, not scary at all. It's kind of like when you show the demon, it's not scary, but it was never scary to begin with.
Nor does it make any sense.
Why is she allowing the phone to make the call at the end? Jack's phone starts making a call, setting up for a fucking sequel nobody wants. Just stomp that cell phone out, kill that ghost. Now Beth is going away for serial murder because there's no one to corroborate her story and only a pissed off cop whose partner was just killed. And that's all I have.
That about covers it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get to the real reason why Chad is here. And we're going to throw it to Rabs. I do that to you sometimes. Yeah. I don't know why. I think it's all the A's that I'm about to say. Rob's Magic Marvel Corner.
This is Rob's Magic Marvel Movie Corner.
Spider-Man, Far From Home? Far From Home. It's the third one.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. There we go.
Shows how much you care, Rob.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't mind.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let Chad do the talking to start because we haven't heard his voice as much as mine. So take it away, Chad.
Man. So no, I'm super pumped to talk about this one because I am a ride or die Spider-Man fan. Love Spider-Man. In all the forms. And with Sony, I'm not sure how far you guys go into like the business side of things, but Sony is legally obligated in their contract with Marvel to put out a Spider-Man movie every so often, or they lose the license.
Yeah, I heard that.
And the best part is when Marvel signed the license over, it's a terrible license for Marvel. Like Marvel makes thousands of dollars worth of profit on the Spider-Man movies. It's ridiculous.
No kidding.
Like, Sony gets the lion's share of, everything they get from the movies. Marvel eventually got back the merchandising rights.
Yeah.
Which, they do okay with that. But as far as the actual movies go. But yeah, so for this to happen, and this is something I initially read somewhere on the internet, I can't remember when, it was like taking all those generations of Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
And someone had written where it was like somebody taking Legos, constructs, and rotten bug-infested black molded Lincoln logs and falling down the stairs and creating something beautiful as a result.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this movie.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed it.
So, but yeah, this is also after the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, which was what my rotten Lincoln logs was alluding to. As a diehard Spider-Man fan, I hated those movies so much.
That's the Andrew Garfield?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And it wasn't his fault. I thought he was always charming, but it was like the opposite of what Spider-Man should be.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man's this hard on his luck guy who's always doing the right thing even though it's not good for him. And the Andrew Garfield was like skater Spidey, and he's like, "No, Captain Stacy, I won't stay with your daughter." And the next scene, he's like, "Hey, Gwen Stacy, I'm sneaking in through your window. How you doing?" I'm like, "No, that's not Spider-Man."
He was too charming. Too charming.
He was too cool.
Yeah. That's Tobey Maguire played that part pretty well, I think. The dichotomy of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, no, that's from the guy who started the show with a 60s Batman quote. Albeit while I wasn't around. I love the campiness of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man 2, the first Spider-Man 2 is still probably my favorite superhero movie of all time.
That's a good one.
Wow. Yeah, it is good.
So, am I going straight into the questions?
Yeah,
Yeah,
shoot.
let's do it.
All right. Okay. So this one, let's start with an easy one. Which Spidey villain was quoted as saying, "For me, it's just about the money"? Was it Alfred Molina? Was it Thomas Hayden Church, Willem Dafoe, or Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx. I feel like
Anybody else want to crack?
I feel like Willem Dafoe, I feel like he doesn't even accept money anymore. He's just like, I want to be that weirdo in that movie. Have you seen?
He's so good and weird.
Have you seen Dog Eat Dog with Willem Dafoe and Nicolas Cage?
No.
Yeah,
It's
actually,
so
I
bad.
have. It's
so fucking
intense.
bad.
It's
brutal,
intense.
dude.
Yeah,
but
it's terrible.
I feel like he's just I feel like he just shows up. He's like, I heard you do another Spider-Man movie. Can I be the Green Goblin again? They're like, yeah, sure, Willem.
Yes, fine.
I'm going Thomas Hayden Church because I haven't heard that name in a while.
There you go. All right.
I'll go with Molina.
All right. And as is customary, Chris is the winner of these games. He gets that one right. It was Alfred Molina.
Hell
at
yeah.
a conference
Chris.
promoting the movie. And he followed it up by saying, he was just kidding, but 17 years is a long time for a studio to wait before they exercise the option on a sequel. Because it had been that long since Spider-Man 2. But okay.
Wow. Yeah, it had been a long time. That's true.
So speaking of that, which actor that appears in the movie actually appeared on set as opposed to just phoning it in? Was it Tom Hardy, who plays Venom? Was it Thomas Hayden Church, who's Sandman? Was it Jake Gyllenhaal, who was Mysterio? Or was it Rhys Ifans, who plays the Lizard? Which one actually showed up?
I'm saying Tom Hardy.
Hardy, I was about to say, because it's like a cross promo, and I don't know. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, it was just that one clip, right? When from the news bumpers. So they probably, if they knew they were doing a sequel, they probably shot that when they did the first one or the second one. When Mysterion, I'm thinking South Park. When Mysterio was, they probably that looked like something that would have been like a post-credit scene that they just all right, we're gonna hold on to this and keep it in our back pocket. We're gonna use it later. So I don't think he showed up, and then everything else was pretty CGI. So they could have just flown that in a lot of ways. So I'm Hardy. I'm gonna go with Hardy.
I'll go with the Lizard.
Okay. The correct answer goes to Rob and Bob. It was Tom Hardy's Venom. Everybody else phoned it in. Everything was CGI leftovers from their previous movies, and they did come in to do voice work. Right. But none of their appearances was actual fresh footage.
How
It was
about
all
that?
just recreated.
It's cool that they can even do that, though. That would seem like
That's
hard work.
right. That's just it goes to show that the big studios own you.
Well,
sign up for a movie franchise.
Yeah.
In Shazam: Fury of the Gods, didn't Gal Gadot do her whole thing remotely, and then they deep faked her onto somebody else?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's insane. I did not know
And
that.
so take that, Crispin Glover. They can do what they want.
Crispin Glover.
Sorry, it's my deep pull for the day. All right, this last one is an essay question. A brief response.
Okay.
All right. One of the things I loved about this Spider-Man No Way Home movie was the fact that Sony as a movie making franchise or movie making studio always managed to just mess something up a little bit. Even when they're doing things right, there's always something that's a little bit off.
Yeah.
Until they got to this movie where I felt like they just all the nitpicks I've had from Spider-Man movies, they found a way to address it. They didn't harp on it. They're like, no, we fixed this, and then we moved on, and bam, they were off to the races. So my question for you is, what was the best fix in Far From Home from across the Spider-Man franchise? Was it Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin Power Ranger mask gets discarded early so you can see Willem Dafoe's creepy smile, which is Julia Roberts-esque in terms of its physical stature, but used for creepy effect? Was it? So we have Willem Dafoe losing the Power Ranger mask that was stationary and not so good. Or was it B, Jamie Foxx getting depleted of all the doofus ability from Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and instead being allowed to be cool and a little bit sexy and a little bit scary and no longer blue? So you have the whole, like, you let Jamie Foxx be Jamie Foxx. Was it the fact that Andrew Garfield didn't have to be sad and angry the whole time? He got to be fun and heroic and do things.
Yeah.
Or your final option, was it the fact that Tom Holland's Peter Parker, by the end of the movie, sheds his Iron Man Jr. role, loses the fancy suit, loses the Iron Man supporting cast, loses all that stuff, and actually becomes a down on his luck, broke Spider-Man?
I'm gonna go with the last one because it was satisfying. It was like way too satisfying. So I feel like that was very intentional.
Yeah, that scene when he goes into the coffee shop or the donut shop with Mary Jane or MJ. I'm sorry, not Mary Jane. She's Michelle Jones.
Yeah, I feel like
that sounded good to me too. I'm gonna agree. I'll double down.
I just feel like that scene is just like it doesn't reset the timeline per se, but like it resets the timeline. You know, like I don't know any other way to explain it. It's just it leaves it open ended, and based on what I know from like Tom Holland saying like he might come back and do another one if they make a fourth Spider-Man and the script's like tops the third one, he'll do it. But I think they close it in a way that's satisfying for viewers going like, if they never make another one, it's gonna be perfect. But we can if we want to. And I think that was very deliberate because I don't think they knew how well it was gonna be received.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go different.
Okay.
I'm gonna say letting Foxy Jamie Foxx electrocute us with his more grounded personality.
Oh my goodness, he's so crazy,
Grounded.
sexy,
like
cool.
Yeah,
They gave him buck teeth in the last movie. Buck teeth and a part in his hair. That's Jamie effing Foxx.
Yeah, right. That's I like
Ray.
that. I like that a lot. I like his performance in this one much better. But is there a definitive answer to this?
Yes, there absolutely is.
Okay, all right.
Unfortunately, Bob, you were going with the fact that Peter Parker sheds his Iron Man stuff.
Yes.
Switch.
And you brought up the fact at the end he's in the classic red and blue suit that's very comic based and like the best of all the suits. I know you were thinking it. No, that's perfectly reasonable.
I brought that up. Yes.
Yes, good.
I heard him. Yeah.
Good on you. But no, the correct answer is actually the redemption of Andrew Garfield because he had to be in those terrible, Amazing Spider-Man movies. Where the first one was cut up so bad plot wise, it made like zero sense whatsoever. And like as a super diehard Spider-Man fan, I almost walked out of the theater. I only stayed out of respect for the $14 my ticket cost me because they were upcharged for opening night.
Yeah,
but no, he gets to rescue MJ. He gets to be funny. He gets to be the sad sort of like outcasty Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, if you managed to watch the more fun edition, which has 11 extra minutes.
No,
I didn't see that one.
There's some extra Andrew Garfield in there. Just him being, of all the Spider-Man, you have Tobey Maguire, who is like the classic, like older brother Spider-Man, who's got stuff figured out, and he's just trying to be better all the time. And you have Tom Holland. He's the guy everybody likes because he's charming and he's new and he's fresh and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have Andrew Garfield. They basically just acknowledge he's the screw up.
Yeah.
And that's his whole plot line. And they give him that redemption where even though those movies are still terrible, the fact that he could be redeemed and potentially show up maybe somewhere else down the line.
Yep.
Like that's the best one. But no, there's no wrong answers there. It's all the above.
Awesome. Well, thank
right.
you so much for
Nice.
that, Jack.
Well, thank you for letting me talk about Spider-Man.
Hell yeah.
No, we thoroughly enjoyed that. At least I did. Yeah. So I am not going to ask any doofy questions for the sake of not embarrassing myself after having to follow chat up. And for time, we'll just move it on to back credit names if you're cool with that.
No,
Rob.
I have one question left.
Oh shoot!
I forgot that. I didn't have a chance to ask this last week because I fell asleep. Rob, can we please cut this down to 2 questions each?
Sure. We're almost done with this segment, dude, and I cannot wait. So
how many more do you have to go?
Let me pull up the spreadsheet. Sheets.google.com. Let's see.
I want to say too many. That's the answer.
Well, there's a lot more on the slate, but I think half of them didn't come out yet. Let's see. I have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and then I don't think the rest came out yet. The Marvels, Deadpool 3, Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Blade.
There you go.
Yeah, those did not come out. I'm excited for Blade. That's going to be awesome.
With Deadpool 3, because the first 2 are Sony films, but they're not part of MCU canon, I'm going to have to watch Deadpool 1 and 2 as well.
You didn't watch Deadpool 1 and 2?
I haven't seen any of these movies.
Deadpool's
wow.
Yeah.
No, so they were Fox, not Sony, which is almost just as bad.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Fox, even worse than Sony when it comes to screwing things up.
Yeah.
Fox didn't want to make the Deadpool movies.
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds shamed them into making the Deadpool movies by releasing the the teaser footage.
Yeah.
And then the fandom got to be so raucous because they had put Deadpool in a movie before.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
No.
So Deadpool's whole gimmick.
Wait. I got it. He's like he's like Soldier X in like X-Men Wolverine.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
It's Wolverine.
It was,
that makes sense. I can't remember the name of it. Was
X-Men
Wolverine
Origins?
Yeah.
Wolverine. Yeah.
So this character who's known for being like this wisecracking, smart aleck, what do? They sewed his mouth shut.
Yeah, literally.
They turned him into Baraka from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Yep. It was awful.
But no, Ryan Reynolds shamed them. The first 2 Deadpool movies are legitimately fun.
Yeah.
And then they went and double dipped on Deadpool 2 again and turned it into a Christmas movie a la The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
They bring Fred Savage in to hear the story.
Oh, God.
Love that movie, Princess Bride.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite of all time. I like that more than Spider-Man.
Wow. It's top 10 for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll move into back credit names.
Hey, Colleen. Got a great ass.
So do you, Pilgrim. So do you, Pilgrim. So do you, Pilgrim.
Back credit names.
All right.
Still can't believe she said Pilgrim. Chris Papa John. I think he's a return customer.
Sweet. Yeah.
Trey Tweedy.
Okay.
Mary Stacy.
Okay.
Chris Bush.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bart Oates.
Ew.
Obi Oberman.
Okay.
Sandy Yep.
Okay.
Char Coates.
Ew.
And Dewey C. Brown.
That's a winner. We got
Dewey C. Brown.
Yeah.
Dewey C. Brown. I say that to my son when he smells.
Yeah.
All right, let's throw it to the offensive minigame.
I care for you a great deal. Trust me, Charlotte.
You practically raped me last night.
That was last night, Charlotte. This is today.
Is something you might hear about in the offensive minigame.
Right.
All right, guys. So this is Idle Hands and One Missed Call. I almost forgot the name of the movie we're doing right now because it was so boring.
Yeah.
Starting with the first 2, we're going to go One Missed Call first. Pond Punished Puss or Flinging Felines.
The Pond Punished Puss, because I'd say being from the cat's perspective, being flung into like a wall And the wall being the last thing you see before it just cuts out to black.
Yes.
Is a way more humane to die than drowning.
I just think there was in one missed call, the cat wasn't on the phone address list.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't understand. I still.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
Cats don't even use phones.
Yeah. Not to. Exactly. I mean, we don't know that. We don't know that. But, sinking scary cell phones or a handsy hand.
Handsy hand.
Handsy hand.
You need consent. Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, so it's 1-1. We'll go to the bonus round. Thank God for that, because we don't always. Although we definitely do. The F word, not that one.
Yeah.
Or face grabbing fucked up girl. If it is a homophobic slur, the other F word we're referring to, we literally clipped it for Idle Hands, and it's not the only homophobic joke in that movie. That's just a little context for you.
And the other one's basically traumatizing somebody who's already dealt with a severe amount of
trauma. Abusing and abuse victim.
I'm gonna go with that one, because as problematic as the Idle Hand stuff is, like, that was just kind of part of the lexicon, and they were trying to be offensive. Whereas in One Missed Call, like, it was something that was supposed to be in earnest, but was just kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I'm with Rob on this one.
Okay, so One Missed Call takes the offensive minigame, and now we will move on to the movie comparison bumper.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
But you can compare the movies.
Idle Hands and One Missed Call, negative 29.6 and worst for Idle Hands, negative 59.6 and worst for One Missed Call. Bob, you won with a 2.5 last week. Way to go! But you lose to our team 5-star this week. So through 3, One Missed Call is sleeping.
I still want to read my limerick from last week at some point.
You should. I completely.
I sent it to Rob, but I think he claims he didn't read it.
It'll be your last word for this episode. How about
that? Good call. I'll look it up.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Cool.
Okay, dialogue. You've got campy for Idle Hands, or whatever the fuck this is.
Flaccid. I'm gonna go with flaccid, and I think flaccid is worse than campy.
I'm just gonna agree. I think that's funny, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, production inconsistent curse, or that is the Idle Hands worst production, or missing first act / clunky exposition.
Yes.
Let's go with
this
that
one. Yeah, this one.
Chad, do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, we're all on that one. Unanimous. Acting. It's not bad for Idle Hands. It's not. I think I'm going One Missed Call too, because it's completely underwhelming.
One Missed Call is much worse acting.
Idle Hands did exactly what it intended to do.
Yeah, that is true.
Which was flop epically, then be a cult classic.
Be the senseless of horror.
Yeah, but One Missed Call was trying to do something, and it didn't.
It didn't. You're right.
Yeah, it didn't do.
It didn't do. They didn't get the doer.
Yeah, they didn't get the doer.
All right, demerits from last week. We have what Chris said. I don't remember what I said, but also dumb stoners.
Okay.
You guys want to throw demerits in for this one?
Everything.
How about Chad can tell how bad it is?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Is there worse crime than just being boring? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. It really makes for... That's how we felt about Gotti, the John Travolta movie.
Yeah.
It was incredibly boring, and then there were some absolute stinkers for lines of dialogue, and that made up the whole episode. All right, so worst of the season, clearly clean sweep, One Missed Call. That's going to be really hard to beat. Good, I guess. Good call, Bob, on that one. I don't know whether to applaud you for suggesting this one or curse your name. But One Missed Call is the worst of the season so far. Next week we are doing I Still Know, the sequel. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. and I have to write
okay,
that all
fine.
out. Oh, really? Damn.
What now? Is that like the first sequel?
Yeah.
Yes, and then there's I Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
But it's like
I've seen none of them.
Okay, well,
So
the first one is really bad, but
Yeah.
the second one is like everyone, the entire movie community agrees that it is one of the worst horror movies ever made.
Fun fact about the first one: the screenplay was written by the same guy who wrote Scream. So on two separate fronts, he wrote the screenplay for a meta, self-aware slasher film that revived the genre, and
Yeah,
then
which was
within like the
great.
same year, basically, he wanted to take a crack at a serious one. So like people criticize I Know What You Did Last Summer for ripping off Scream, but like the same guy wrote it, and he's like, I want to do a serious one, and I want to do a funny one, and it's kind of had a renaissance because people like have kind of agreed with that, but it's still awful. It's still not great.
Wasn't it the Dawson's Creek guy?
Josh Jackson is in it.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain he's in it. Yep.
Pacey forever.
But didn't Wes Craven write Scream?
I thought he directed it.
Maybe he just directed it. Okay.
That could be. I'm going to.
Yeah, it's Kevin Williamson wrote it, but Wes Craven directed it.
Yeah, Wes Craven also directed Hellraiser, so take that.
Yeah.
Fair. He's got a point. All right. Well, thank you again to Chad Smith of the Last Comic Shop podcast. We appreciate you joining. We're going to throw some links to your stuff on Instagram, what have you. What else would you like to plug or say at this point before we throw it to Rob?
Just thanks so much for having me, guys. It's always fun. I tried to cross promote on the X today, but I don't know if anybody follows that anymore. I'm bad at social media.
Oh, no.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for coming.
All right, so you can find us at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and email, and other stuff.
True.
And you can click those buttons, and the buttons will take you to the thing that you click, and then you could, just browse our archives. Do the search within the feed and see if there's a movie that you don't like that we've already done, and check it out. We're in our 97th season. This is like episode 122. So we've got a pretty big archive going on. So check it out. And then Bob's gonna close the show out with the Idle Hands limerick to bridge the gap between this week and last week.
Now, Chris and Rob, I actually wrote this like just for the write-up because it's full of alliteration and euphemisms for severed hands.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Right.
There once was a lethargic loafer who had a lopped-off limb.
Wow.
His trimmed touch tool tried terminating teens and him.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
A handshake maker turned killer. Sounds like it'd be a thriller. But this depiction of a detached digits, we're the only victims.
Wow.
You would have gotten way better than a 2.5.
Yeah. You'd think you were an English teacher.
That's it. Yeah. You had your the correct pronoun usage in there with the him. I was working that out.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I like it.
It was it was a hymn to my ears as well. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks again, Chad, for joining. Bob, Rob, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Fucking crap.